Welcome to ABA Inside Track's December 2021 preview. I'm your host, Robert Perry Cruz, with my fabulous co-host.
Hey, Rob, it's Diana.
And we are down one co-host this week. We've been doing a lot of recording to prepare for the holiday season, and unfortunately we had some illness in our crew, so Jackie is doing a little bit of recovering, and we thought we'd give her a break from doing recording day after day after day.
Yeah, it's been a week.
Yes.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, we brought our festive sweaters.
Yes.
To sort of help spice up the fact that there's only two of us today.
Yes. But we don't usually just talk about sweaters here. We talk about behavior analysis and behavior analytic research. And in our December preview, or in every preview, I should say, we talk about the episodes that will be coming out this month, as well as some other fun facts and goings on in the ABA Inside Trackiverse. So why don't we get started with some of that? We've got all the best and brightest topics about behavior analysis and behavior analytic research coming out to wrap up the year. And it is a doozy of a December, let me tell you, Diana. We've got how many possible episodes?
I'm actually unsure.
I think we've got 3 episodes coming out.
Uh-huh.
We've got a bonus episode planned.
Uh-huh.
We've got a book club podcast coming out for patrons. And so preview for everybody, but a full length 2-hour podcast for patrons. And also for patrons, we've got a live episode that some folks, if they're not subscribed to us on Patreon, would see here in January. But if you want to, everyone will get it in January, but we also have it coming up in this month. So that's 6. You could have 6 possible ABA Inside Track episodes this month.
Wow. What a treat.
Plus this. So 7, I guess. 6 or 7. That's a lot. You can see why Jackie doesn't want to be here today to talk about what's coming up this month. She'd rather take a nap, and she deserves it because it's been busy times. So, Dinah, why don't we start with the easy stuff? What are
my sweater?
What about your sweater?
Well, I wanted to tell you about my sweater.
Okay, why don't we start? That seems pretty easy.
Right, so it's a holiday sweater, as you can see, but
so hoop-de-doo.
Don't consider it ugly. I think that it's quite beautiful. And I was just at Kohl's, and you can now buy just like straight up ugly sweaters like all over the place.
I liked it better when you had to find them. Although
exactly,
I should talk. I bought mine specifically for the aesthetic. I think yours might be
from Kohl's, in fact. It was sort of a kitschy thing, right? But this is an authentic holiday sweater that was hand knit by someone who I presume was probably a grandma. If you can't tell, it has all of the ingredients on it. So there's butter. I don't know.
There's milk.
I can't quite
I see
tell
milk.
what the things are. This is the cookies. This is the milk. This may be some other butter. And maybe this one is sugar over here.
There's a mouse under your armpit. I don't know what that has to do with anything.
There's not a mouse, surely. But then what you guys can't see, but I do want to make sure you do see.
Please don't knock over our camera, Diana.
On the back, is that coming through?
A little bit, yes.
It is the recipe for the cookies, for the holiday cookies. So that's the story of my holiday sweater. It was a thrift store find, and I love it. And it's actually usually too hot in the house to actually wear it on Christmas Day, but
we record in the basement more now, so it's a little chillier this time of year.
Right, it's absolutely perfect for this purpose. So that's mine. How about yours?
Okay. Oh, mine, I just got it. It's got Boba Fett. It's got Boba Fett.
Oh, I thought it was not a Mandalorian one.
Well, it's got a Mandalorian symbol.
So that's not the Mandalorian.
But it is Boba. No, it's Boba Fett with just transporting Han Solo out of Cloud City.
Oh, my bad.
As featured in The Empire Strikes Back.
Of course.
The best Star Wars
I was
movie.
misled by this thing.
That's just the Mandalorian symbol, and then other holiday decorations. Maybe it's I guess it's a Life Day sweater in that regard. Okay. Remember Life Day from the holiday special? Everyone loves that. Do yourself a favor. Check that out. B. Arthur's performance. Mwah!
Okay.
Anywho,
so
that's
anyway,
enough about
happy
that.
Holidays.
Happy holidays to everyone out there.
Holidays you like to celebrate. I hope that they are warm and happy and have lots of friends and family involved.
Yes, and by the time most of you are seeing this, we'll sort of have already done about half of the episodes recording, and then we'll finish them up. So by the time most of our episodes come out and the holidays are actually being celebrated, don't worry about us. We'll have passed out from podcasting, but you'll have all the enjoyment of the recordings. Well, we hope they're recording. We haven't finished them all yet.
Who can say?
Who can say?
All right, but I guess I should tell you what we're planning to do.
Yeah, so let's start with just our basic plain feed. What are our 3 episodes? We almost always have 3 to 4 episodes every month. They're just our normal episodes. They're not holiday specific. They're not special extra subscription stuff. It's just what we've been doing for 5 years now. Coming up well, still our 5th year, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So we have 3 regular episodes planned for December.
They're regular in the sense of normal feed episodes. They're amazing in terms of content.
Oh, for sure. Well, they most certainly are. This first one, absolutely, because we were pleased to be able to talk to Dr. David Palmer about memory in episode number 1 for December, and we kept it basic as far as the material for that. We just talked about Palmer's 1991 paper, A Behavioral Interpretation of Memory. It is a fantastic conversation, and hopefully you get a chance to tune in.
That is what I would say. You want to read that and listen to the discussion, because I think it's one of those papers that you read it and it makes perfect sense, but once you're not looking at it or thinking about it actively, it is a concept that requires a lot of revision and you need to come back to it a lot. So when you have Dr. Palmer talking about it as well, you're really getting the whole shebang. So please very much enjoy that. I know we did.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on the show, Dr. Palmer. And then up next, I believe in the sequence after that, we're going to continue our professional collaboration series. So if you listened a few months ago on episode 171, we had a professional collaboration SLP edition with Dr. Aaron Michaud, who's both an SLP and a BCBA. And this month, we're going to continue with professional collaboration OT edition. So we were joined this month by Dr. Michael Roberts, and we had several articles that we discussed in the context of talking about collaboration between our 2 fields with him. Those articles are Applied Behavior Analysis, Autism, and Occupational Therapy, A Search for Understanding by Welsh and Polachko in the American Journal of Occupational Therapy recently. What year is it?
Oh boy, I don't remember. 2016.
2016. Okay.
That's one. Yeah, that's the one. When I put the little article thing down below, I had to cut and paste it because it's on multiple pages.
Yeah. Next up, Interprofessional Practice for Simultaneous Implementation of Merge Techniques from 3 Disciplines, OT, SLP, ABA. That is by White, Stokes, Simons, Longerbeam, Richardson, and Zinn in the Journal of Interprofessional Education and Practice, 2018. Then we talked about collaboration between behavior analysts and occupational therapists in autism service provision, Bridging the Gap, by Gasiewski, Weiss, Leaf, and Labowitz in Behavior Analysis and Practice, 2021. And last but not least, Interprofessional. Is that last? Yeah. Is it though?
Yes, we have 4 articles for that episode. Nope, that's 4 articles. You talked about 3. Here's number 4.
Okay, here's number 4. Interprofessional collaborative practice between occupational therapists and behavior analysts for children with autism by Whiting and Muirhead, Journal of Occupational Therapy, Schools and Early Intervention. Also quite recent publication, 2019. There we go.
All right.
These are really good articles.
They were. It was a lot of fun.
We had a good discussion related to them. So hopefully you get a chance to listen to that and continue on your learning about collaboration. Next up, and the final one for the regularly scheduled episodes for December, we thought we would tackle the concept of self-control. So I've pulled articles for this topic, some from sort of the relevant psychological literature that you may be familiar with, and then others more specifically from the behavior analytic literature. So we're going to try to do a balanced talk across those 2 interpretations of self-control. So the articles we're discussing are Revisiting the Marshmallow Test, a conceptual replication investigating links between early delay of gratification and later outcomes. That's by Watts, Duncan, and Kwan in Psychological Science, 2018. Self-Control, Teaching Tolerance for Delay in Impulsive Children by Schweitzer and Solzer-Azaroff. JAB, Journal of Experimental Analysis of Behavior, 1988.
Ooh, save extra time for that one. It's going to be hard.
Yeah. Then we have Rational Snacking. Young children's decision-making on the marshmallow task is moderated by beliefs about environmental reliability by Kidd, Palmieri, and Aslan, published in Cognition, 2013. This is a very hot topic.
I know. Well, I know I always feel when I'm about to eat the whole tube of Pringles, I'm like, let me think about like environmental relations. You know, I really gotta pay attention before I eat them all.
No, I don't think that's quite what it means, but
Oh, sorry. Well, the title, I thought they were giving it away.
Then we have Teaching Self-Control to Small Groups of Duly Diagnosed Adults by Dixon and Holcomb. This one is in Java 2000. And finally, Evaluating a Board Game Designed to Promote Young Children's Delay of Gratification. This one has several authors. Onsman Froska, Singh, Curry, Torriello, Epstein, Faith, Reardon, and Pape. Published in Frontiers in Psychology 2020. All right.
I haven't gotten to read that one yet. I'm wondering if it's Ghost Fighting Treasure Hunters. That's a good one.
No, it's not. And the research is a little mixed.
Okay.
There. But I thought it was a good topic for us to have a nice long chat about.
All right.
So that's the plan there. Do you want me to keep going here? Or?
Why don't we pause to describe why there are going to be some other episodes coming out this month. There's some other episodes coming out this month. So we've got our main episodes. We also have a bonus episode for those of you who've been longtime listeners either to our show or to our friend Matt Scoria's Behavioral Observations podcast. You might know that we tend to do a little like end of year in ABA wrap up. So we're going to be doing that again this year. That usually comes out right before New Year's. It's more loosey-goosey, more just kind of a fun chat and hang, but we do try to talk about some of the bigger issues that have come up in the field over the past 365 days.
Whiskey and smoked meats kind of environment, I feel, for that one.
Okay, sure. I don't think anyone had whiskey or smoked meats last year.
That's like the vibe.
Are they coming this time? Someone's bringing that?
Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Okay, even better. Wow.
I'll work that out.
Yes. So that'll be coming out near the end of the month. It's a bonus episode for everybody else. But we also have 2 other episodes, one of which is one of our book club episodes. So we've been doing our Patreon. It's our second year of our Patreon, patreon.com/ABA Inside Track. And individuals can now subscribe at a number of levels. There's sort of the $3 level if you want to get these episodes ahead of time, as well as gain access to some of our videos that will be coming out later this year with some special guests. But at the $5...
We're actually doing research on delay of gratification. Related to when you get your episodes. I'm just kidding.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Okay, great. If you subscribe at some of the higher levels, we have extra activities. So we'll start, if you're subscribing at our premium or $10 level or above, you get a lot of cool things like discounts at the store, you get some special merchandise items, the CE store, I should say, and you also get access to our extra long book club podcast. We've done a whole year of these, and we're doing even more. And we just, by the time this comes out, it's either going to be coming out this next week, depending on if you're listening on the early feed or the free feed. You're going to be getting a preview or the full length Nudge podcast. Talked about Nudge, the book, the behavioral economics, I guess, instant classic. We've got a Nobel laureate co-author.
Yes, Baylor and Sunstein wrote that book. If you haven't heard of it.
So we discussed the final edition, which was the newest edition of Nudge that came out, as well as some comparisons to the second edition, which I'd read previously, back in the day. And so we sort of talked about how does behavioral economics relate to applied behavior analysis? Are there techniques from the book that we think are appropriate for use, nudging in terms of our practice as BCBAs? But that is coming out. That's I think we talked for 2 whole hours about the book. We didn't cover every single aspect because, spoiler alert, some of it's very economics heavy, and that's irrelevant to, I think, most of us in terms of why you would listen to our show.
We had a lot to say about
There was
this
a lot
book.
to say.
But, I was promised elephants based on the cover of the book, and there were no elephants in this story. So
don't spoil it. There's at least 20 minutes we talk about the lack of elephants in the book on the podcast itself. We want people to subscribe, so they get the whole thing.
Anyway,
so
that's coming.
That should be coming out this month. You'll be getting a free preview if you're watching this on the free feed. So it's a short snippet kind of our initial thoughts. But if you're subscribing on our Patreon page, you will get the whole shebang, and it's worth 2 CEs at no additional charge because you're subscribing to our Patreon, and we want to say thanks any way we can. Now, if you are subscribed to our Patreon at the $5 level, you're going to get an even earlier preview of an episode that we'll be doing in January on the topic of behavioral cusps, as voted on by our Patreon subscribers and listeners. But the reason we're talking about it in December is because for the first time ever, we are going to be opening up the recording to be a live episode. So if you are subscribing at the $5 level on Patreon, you'll be able to join us on our Zoom recording and watch the magic happen, which is mostly just the podcast plus like an extra 20 minutes checks, where we mess up, and Diana hates sound checks and she gets very angry at me. But we might scream or throw something at each other. You never know. Like lots of things could happen. It's live, a live event. But again, If you just want to hear the full polished version, that'll be coming out in January. But if you're going to be joining us this December,
fun, right?
I think it's a fun way to see the show
Yes.
and to get a little extra. And plus, anyone who comes, you'd be able to get your free CE for attending the event itself.
Yep.
But
it's a BYOB situation.
Yes.
It is via Zoom.
Exactly.
But, you know.
But Dana, why don't we say what 3 articles about behavioral cusps we will be discussing?
Okay, dokie. I can do that. So we had a few topics that we floated out there to our patrons, and behavioral cusp was the one that won, which was my suggestion. So I feel quite honored.
You want to talk about what the losers were, or should we save those for when we maybe do them in future?
No, we shouldn't, because we might record those episodes anyway. They were all very good topics.
I had a lot of articles for the topic that I proposed. We didn't put any names on them. My topic got a vote, so I'm glad I have all those articles ready to go.
Yours wasn't quite as sexy as behavioral cusp.
It's not.
No. So I've chosen 3 articles that we will discuss, and they are as follows. Behavioral cusps, a person-centered concept for establishing pivotal individual, family, and community behaviors and repertoires. That's by Smith, McDougall, and Edelin Smith from Focus on Autism and Other Developmental Disabilities, 2006. Then I obviously should have led with the classic Behavioral Cusps, a Developmental and Pragmatic Concept for Behavior Analysis by Rosales Ruiz and Bear, published in 1977 in JABA.
1997.
97? What
I think you're thinking of Stokes and Bear,
I
1977.
said 77? Oh,
You
yeah.
said 77, yeah.
Sorry. And then we will also discuss Behavioral Cusps, a model for selecting target behaviors by Bosch and Fuqua, JABA, 2001.
Great.
Yeah, quite the selection there. So that should be a good combo. Great. And I'm hoping to, discuss behavioral cusps, but then also do what they discuss in this Bosch article, which is think about how that should be impacting our selection of learning targets.
Yeah. So if you haven't joined us on patreon.com/ABA Inside Track, you're not sure if you have been wanting to subscribe, this is the month to do it, because you're going to be getting a lot of big extras out this month.
A lot going on.
A lot going on. Again, if you just kind of, like coming and checking in occasionally, some of those book clubs eventually do come out in the free feed. They're about a year out. So some of ours from last year, I think we had a Meaningful Differences one, should have come out around the time you're getting this. And then that the live episode will eventually turn into just a regular recording that you'll be able to listen to in January. But I know you want to get that stuff early. It's a holiday season. You want to get your presents as early as possible. You don't want to wait. I don't know. We haven't read Self-Control. Maybe there's a way to teach you to wait. But, we want you to jump in early. Join us as early as you can. Wow. That's a lot of episodes. Did we do them all?
Yeah.
Yeah. All 6 or 7. Yeah. Great. All right. Well, let's wrap up. We've talked so much about all these extra things. Let's move into a quick errata.
Very quick. You're going to do that, though.
I'm going to do errata because Jackie is not here. So we will be doing errata. This is a section of the show where we talk about any other goings on, as well as read emails from folks out there. I don't think we have any more goings on. There wouldn't be enough days in the month to cover all the goings on.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple emails. It's been really great seeing more people posting on our website, abainsidetrack.com, as well as on the Patreon page, asking questions, sending messages. We really love getting those because, again, I think for something we've done for 5 years, it is still a shock that anyone would bother to send us an email to let us know anything about the show.
It's so nice.
So if you would like to send us an email, certainly you can post on the ABA Inside Track page, the patreon.com/ABA Inside Track page, any of our social medias, or the old-fashioned email, abaiinsidetrack@gmail.com.
That's the way to go.
Yes. The other places
it's very hard to log
do
in
get to.
On the website to respond to.
So many complaints. We bifurcated our tasks in a way that only, if one of us were not available, we wouldn't be able to do all the aspects of the show, I think, at this point. We've over-specialized.
Are we supposed to reveal that?
I think. That we don't all do every single activity related to having a podcast? No, we do not. We each take turns.
But Rob is going to do his best to do
But I'm going to do my best. I know how to get on the emails, no matter where I am. So this is an email from listener Talia titled Bologna Sandwich, which I grabbed because I said, I don't know what this email is about. I can't wait. It says, hi all, I was just listening to episode 172 with one of my supervisees, and I believe it was Diana who mentioned the idea of the bologna sandwich. What I gather is that you were talking about a well-known metaphor to figure out which information is bunk. I'm just wondering where I can find more information on what you mean by this. When I Googled bologna sandwich, it was not what I expected. Urban Dictionary strikes again. By the way you were talking about it, it sounded like it wasn't in the article you were discussing at the time.
was not.
And no, it was not. So Diana then sent Talia a link. Thank you for writing in, Talia. The link for the rest of you, it's at skeptic.com. I think if you type in skeptic.com plus bologna sandwich, you should find that article. It's bologna detection kit sandwich infographic. So
yes, if you look up the bologna detection kit, I think that will get you what you're looking for more specifically. And there's actually a lot of different versions of it out there in the world. I just like the infographic that they had made specifically for the skeptic.com website, but it's not specific to them. So you can go and see, and it has like 10 different questions that you could ask yourself. I use it in class to help students determine if fad treatments are potentially evidence-based or could become evidence-based down the road, or if they have a lot of red flags that indicate that they're likely bunk.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So thanks for writing in, Talia.
Uncle Bunk, the great movie with John Candy?
No.
Oh.
What about Bob?
No, that's Uncle Buck, I think.
I'm just kidding.
Where are you with a totally unrelated movie? That's a Richard Dreyfuss, Bill Murray movie you're mentioning.
I know.
Okay, we've got another email here from Susan, who is an assistant principal. And she writes, at her school, we have a lot of at-risk students. I'm wondering if you guys can do an episode or more on trauma-informed ABA. And while I think it's a very important topic, and I'm certain we could do the or more part, we did actually have an episode that we had talked about trauma-informed care, specifically working with autistic clients. Diana, you always remember.
I do. It's episode 134 with Brian Middleton, who is also the bearded behaviorist, if you've heard of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great.
It was great. It was a great episode. So I encouraged Susan to check that one out, but I also think it's a topic that we should be revisiting over and in varied context. So we added it to the list. So thanks for writing in, Susan.
Yeah. And while I think trauma-informed care is a topic that is not new, it is one that there's always room for more looking at the generality of some of the findings from other fields, how they can come into ABA. So at-risk students versus autistic students, there are going to be differences because they're not necessarily the same individual. They come from a different history, a different trauma history. So yeah, definitely something we have on our short list to kind of come back to. All right, and we have one more, just a short one. It's from a former guest, Darlene, Dr. Crone Todd.
Hi, Darlene.
Hi, Darlene. And just said, can I just say that the three of you combined give 330%? Yes, you can, and you did, and we appreciate it, Darlene. Thank you.
That's so sweet.
I know. I'm hoping we talked at one point. We're hoping to get Darlene on again to talk about maybe do a bonus on it because she has so many amazing ABA pop culture kind of metaphors and correlations. I could just say two topics. Go.
I want each other's language for sure.
I feel like I'd be just reading it for myself. Like, Darlene, go. Tell me about like your zombies and ABA paper. Go. I just want to hear about it. Just tell me about it. Maybe do a Star Wars ABA. I don't know, Darlene. Just keep thinking about that. But we'll just go through them all. I can't wait. That's the present I want for the holidays. Well, I think that's it for errata. That's our email. How did I do? I did okay?
Yes, you did a good
job. Okay. Whew. Thank goodness. Well, that brings us to the end of our preview episode. We've got a lot of episodes coming out. We got to go finish recording the rest of them. But for all of you out there, thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoy everything that's coming out. We hope you and your family, especially as we're at whatever end of the pandemic we seem to be in, and we hope you are able to spend a little bit more time actually seeing some family in person this year, unlike last year. We really appreciate everyone who's been sending us emails, kind thoughts on the website. Thank you so much. Just as a quick reminder, you can always find these episodes on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you like to get podcasts. Our website's ABA Inside Track for more information. So if you want to subscribe for some of those extra bonuses we talked about, that's patreon.com/ABA Inside Track. You can find us on all the socials as ABA Inside Track. And of course, you can send us emails whenever you like at abainsidetrack@gmail.com. Well, we'll be back in the rest of this year, and then we'll see you on one of these videos in 2022. Until then, keep responding. Bye.
Bye.